By the time we reach a certain age, we'll all be relying on something to prop up our failing bodies. For some, this prop will be a hearing aid. For others, this prop will be a stick. For nearly everyone, this prop will be some form of tablet. Sadly, we don't choose the prop chooses us. In my work as a nurse, I'm always amazed at how many of these props go unused. On being admitted to hospital, patients say to me things like, "Pardon? What did you say?" "Yes, I've got a hearing aid, but I don't use it." People say to me things like, "Ah, yes, I've got a stick, but like most days, I wasn't using it when I fell." Am I prescribed any regular medication by my doctor? Yes, of course, but I've never been a fan of taking tablets. I've got piles and piles of unopened packets at home. Do people want to hear? Yes. Do people want to walk? Yes. Do people want to live longer and feel better? Yes. Do people want to admit that they're frail? Christianity is sometimes described as a crutch or a prop for weak people. Based on this view, Christians are softies who need to sing "The Lord is my shepherd" every time they nervously try and deal with a spider. And yet the reality is, we all use props of some description. The person who refuses to use a hearing aid simply turns up the TV volume. The person who doesn't use their stick walks by clinging on to the furniture. The person who doesn't take any tablets manages to pass their doctor's MOT by not attending. We all use something to help us cope with the frailty of life, the reality of death, and the difficulties of daily living. For some, this might be the prop of ignorance provided by alcohol. For others, this might be some form of inner strength that they tap into when times are tough. But the question is, which prop is best? Now, thinking about that question, which prop is best? Now, there's a wrong way and a right way to answer that question. The wrong way to approach that question would to try and find out which prop can be best kept hidden. For example, many older people refuse to use their hearing aids, and they refuse to use a Zimmer frame. But they all have a handkerchief hidden up their sleeve. They've apparently no problem in using a 10-day-old hanky to deal with their nasal dribbling. But they do have a problem using a Zimmer frame for the first time. Why this reluctance to use one prop but not use the other? Why use one piece of life's first aid kit and not the other? Well, one prop can be kept hidden up their sleeve, whereas the other prop, the Zimmer frame, everyone can see. People can see the Christian walking into church to get their weekly boost, whereas no one can see the secret drinker who drinks to help them deal with a midlife crisis. People can hear the words of comfort read at a Christian's funeral, whereas no one can see the thoughts of someone who is trying to keep quiet about their fear of death. People may laugh at the Christian who says that their invisible God helps them face real problems, whereas you can be selective about the friends who you speak to about how you're really coping. Basically, we often choose props based on how much they do. Basically, we often choose props based on how much they do or don't reveal about our personal frailty. And if the prop makes us look weak, well, we'll chuck it in the bin. But is this really the best way to deal with life's problems? Is it really that important to have the following words read at our funeral? We're gathered here today to remember such and such. We especially remember the 25 pence he saved the NHS by refusing to take tablets. And by not using his hearing aids, an entire family of small batteries were saved from being removed from their packet. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, By the way, did I mention his Zimmer frame never got dusty? We can now return it to the physio department unused. At the end of life, it doesn't really matter if you used a crutch or not. What matters is, did your crutch prove helpful in life? Did your crutch make any difference after death? Most crutches can do the first of these things, but there's only one crutch that can do both. Inner strength, ignorance, sincere friends, none of these things can do away entirely with the pain and hopelessness of death. They can help, but they cannot cure. The reason that Christians choose the Lord as my shepherd as their crutch is not primarily because it helps them face spiders. The reason is that it speaks about hope and a cure. Reading from Psalm 23 in the Bible. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Jesus, who described himself as the Good Shepherd, didn't just offer people help in death. Jesus offered people hope in death as well. Despite being God's Son and fully divine, Jesus chose to take on human frailty and had his weak body nailed to a cross. But 3 days later, Jesus rose to life again, promising all who believed in him that they would have life again after death as well. Jesus may not be a crutch that gives you a good reputation or makes you look particularly strong, but when it comes to the problem of death, a reputation of being strong doesn't really matter. What will matter at death is, have you dismissed or have you believed Jesus' promises? Have you responded to the Jesus offer of hope and help? Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die.